Hey, Giant fans, welcome to the Giant Insider Podcast.
Man, that is some freaking music you got going.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
baby.
Jerry. Introduce.
Yeah, I'm Jerry Foley, what am I, lead editor? I don't even know what the hell I am. Dude, I'm so excited.
Atlantic Records producer? Okay.
Yeah, I'm so excited from the new intro and everything. And with me, as always, is the beat writer, the heart of Giants Nation. Nobody beats the biz. Host of the ManjaCast with Bob Papa. Chris Bizignano. Chris, I think it's appropriate that on this St. Patrick's Day, that our guest is a fellow Paisan. And what I mean by that is, with all due apologies to Ireland and UK podcast, our friends over there, St. Patrick, his parents were Roman British. And his father, Ferrante, used to say, back at St. Joachim School in Trenton, it took an Italian to chase the snakes out of Ireland. Ouch. What's up, Chris?
I'm not going to touch that one on this sacred day for the Irish. That's you, man. I mean, you can touch it, but I'm not touching that one. But anyway. Those are the facts. But no, I'm not going to touch that one.
My intros are getting better, Chris, right?
Yeah, but between the music and the intro, man, I look forward to this crap. Holy man, I was really getting into that song that you had going there. So
nice.
Yeah, so here we are, St. Patrick's Day. Welcome. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. And we're going to have Ric Serritella in a little bit, the draft guru. As we start focusing on the draft. Well, Jerry, let's put it this way. I thought we would be totally focusing on the draft.
Yeah.
But
nope.
As free agency is winding down, we're basically in wave 3, where you'll see a few signings here and there. The question still is, what is going on with the quarterback?
I thought we would have had a podcast over the weekend, Chris.
Yeah, me too.
Half-hour one about we just signed so-and-so, but it hasn't happened, and now we're having Jameis Winston in tomorrow.
So now Winston's in, Flacco's been in, Russell Wilson's in, and people are waiting on Aaron Rodgers, or Aaron Rodgers is waiting on Minnesota. It seems like they want to see what Aaron wants to see if they get back to him, if they want to work out something. I would imagine Minnesota's his number one choice with that roster. So here we are, man. Look, I guess there's no rush, but how much longer will it be before Joe Schoen and the Giants, pivot or bring in this guy, that guy, or sign this guy? So we'll see.
Well, there's no rush, but from a printing the publication standpoint, I would like to have a quarterback in by the end of the week so my columns make a little more sense. So I told, the bosses over at American Sports Media, you're not getting anything until we sign a quarterback, guys. It could be Thursday, Friday. So with all due respect to them. But seriously, I can't write a thing until we decide what the hell we're doing at quarterback. Or at least I know.
Yeah, pretty funny, Jerry. Basically, I'm waiting on a column just to see what the hell they're going to have after when they sign a quarterback. So, it might be we might have to pivot on those columns the way it's going, So.
Yes, yeah. So look, thought we would have had someone in. Now we don't. Like you said, we're waiting on. I guess Minnesota's waiting on Aaron Rodgers, and we'll see what happens.
No. From what I understand, Aaron Rodgers is waiting on Minnesota.
Yeah,
it
doesn't involve us, I guess.
Here, look, Jerry. Last week, Minnesota's GM went on Twitter 2 weeks ago, and said, we are out on Aaron Rodgers. Now, I understand things could change, right? There's always back channel stuff going on. But, dude, when do you ever see a GM tell the world he's out on a player? So, my opinion, Kevin O'Connell wants him, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
The GM is not big on him, and they're going back and forth and trying to get this solved. I think Kevin O'Connell wants him. He's trying to convince his GM and maybe some other people in the building that we have a Super Bowl or a NFC top roster that could challenge Philadelphia and Detroit to the world. And Rodgers could get us over that hump and get us to the big show. And you might have a GM saying, yeah, that's nice, but I can't stand him. I don't want him anywhere near the building. I think that's where they're at. I really do. I think they're trying to work that out. And then we'll see how the end result is. Because, Jerry, when the hell do you ever see a GM tell the world on Twitter, we are out on Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, never.
So, to me, it's like, I think that's what's going on in Minnesota. And we'll see who wins that battle. That battle will determine what the hell happens with Aaron Rodgers. Jerry, I wouldn't put it past him retirement if he doesn't wind up in Minnesota. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that is the case too. I think it's very likely he retires if he doesn't go to Minnesota. All right, dude. We have our guest backstage, and I will bring him on now on this Italian holiday of St. Patrick's Day.
Wow.
What's up, Rick? How you doing, buddy?
What's happening, fellas? How we doing? Buckle up.
Rick, what's going on, brother?
You got the corned beef and cabbage flowing over here.
I don't know. Oh, Jerry just shot that down. He just went on a 2-minute thing about how this is really an Italian holiday.
So,
Well, you know.
And Rick, my wife made, listen to this. My wife made corned beef and cabbage for herself and my daughter, and was kind enough, because I hate it, to make me sausage sandwiches. So there you go, buddy.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I just had the homemade gnocchi with a little leftover mom sauce. So, I mean,
There
you
you go.
know, hey,
Nice.
it's about as Irish as we're going to get over here.
There you go. Nice. Well, welcome back, buddy. It's been a while.
Yeah, you know, this is our annual get together. I'm excited. Looking forward to it. I got all my dad duties tucked away, I think, and
Nice.
ready to buckle up and hunker down.
Yeah,
Rick, are you home, brother, or are you on the road? Looks
No,
like
I'm
you're home.
here. I'm over here in Lavalette at the beautiful Jersey Shore. You know,
Wow.
nice.
they had the St. Patty's Day parade 2 weekends ago in Seaside. I didn't make it this year, but always a great time. But you know, we got the Draft Bible is back this year, so I haven't been able to escape the house much. Got over to Rutgers Pro Day a little bit, but you know, it's burning the midnight oil, trying to get this draft guide done. So we're here to talk some draft.
Rick,
Good.
you have your book. The
Break.
Bible's coming back out this year?
It is, yeah. Well, I probably won't have a hard copy, but we're gonna do a PDF version.
Okay.
So I see the Barnegat, Richie in Barnegat, man, looking over the bay every day. Buckle up, let's go.
Rick, welcome back, brother. You've been on the road for a long time. I saw you on Twitter. This place, that place, and I guess you learned a lot about these kids, man, in the last few months, huh?
I did. I learned a lot about these kids. I learned a lot about the evaluation process, just working in Edmonton the past year in the front office and going through, you know, we had 3 different general managers, 3 different head coaches, a lot of different philosophies, a lot of different wants, a lot of different needs, a lot of different perspectives. And, you know, just being in the room with those individuals, you just try to absorb knowledge and, you know, doing our weekly show at Brian Baldinger. We do some scouting seminars there, and we have a roundtable discussion with other scouts in the room, and it's been a blessing. So I just try to impart some knowledge and talk about these prospects. I mean, you know, I feel like I'm as prepared as anybody in the planet to talk about these guys. So
we love having you on, man. And again, we're still waiting for the invite for the podcast in Lavalette. We never officially got that.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
I was talking about it a couple of years ago. We're gonna do a podcast in Lavalette at a bar somewhere. But Rick, let's.
How wild would that be?
Yeah, it'd be awesome. But before we get into the draft, Rick, you know, today, right before about an hour ago, we learned that Azeez Ojulari signed with the Philadelphia Eagles for $4 million a year. Couple things. One, now the 2021 draft is completely kaput for the Giants. Every pick is gone. Just, you know, 4 years later, every pick is no, they're gone. That's it. They're like that's it, gone. And they only signed him for $4 million. Now, look, he had his problems. He was injured. He had his issues against the run, but technique-wise, arguably, maybe the Giants' best pass rusher last couple of years, right? I mean, all due respect to Dexter Lawrence, I get it, but pure pass rusher. I figured, I don't know if Chris agrees with me on this, but I figured if the team was, if someone was willing to pay $9 or $10 million, then let him walk. But $4 million just seems like, man, that was awfully cheap to let a guy go. I just want to get your thoughts on him and what you think of that contract.
Well, I think you got to bet on traits and bet on the upside. And so when you talk about characteristics, Ojulari has them, right? Durability and health, that's a question mark. But at $4 million, you've got nothing but upside to gain. And you know, the thing is with free agency is you're always going to have to overpay for a need. You're always going to have to overpay for someone else's players. And so for me, like if I have cap space, my number one priority is to draft and develop and extend or keep guys in-house. Now, I can't speak to his study habits, his personality, how he is in the locker room, if that played a role or not. But just based on the skill set and his ability to get after the quarterback, this is not an every down type of player. This is a guy you want to put in situational matchups and sack the quarterback. And he's proved he could do that when he's healthy. So for $4 million a year, unless there's a character concern, I don't understand why you let somebody, you continue to let these guys walk out the door and overpay.
I know someone who can speak to his personalities in the locker room, Chris. I don't even want to comment on
let's not forget last year at the trade deadline, Joe was offered. He had a few offers come in on Azeez, and it was 6-round picks, and Joe said, "No, I'm not giving them away." And then, from what I understand, they were very interested in bringing him back this year, which why I'm very surprised that a 1-year, $4 million deal, they couldn't figure something out in the Giants building. This was very surprising to me because they like Azeez. Yeah. Like I just said, Joe was not going to give him away the word is he wasn't giving away with the 6-round pick. These guys got a lot of sacks in the time he's played and the snaps he's played. And they were interested in bringing him back. And you can never have enough pass rushes, Rick. So I got to be honest with you, this one was surprising to me for the amount of money he signed for, which what's going to happen, right, Rick? He's going to go to Philadelphia, play 16 games, and have 12 and a half sacks.
Yep.
You can write it down now, Rick.
Well, they found Zach Bond out of the gutter last year, right? And turned his career around. But that's what happens, when Joe Schoen and Joe Schoen and Jerry Jones keeps playing checkers while 30 other teams are playing chess. This guy has no game plan, and he just reeks of desperation, especially with this quarterback chase. And you want to put a Band-Aid on it, you're just going to be in the unemployment line next year. Like, let's get it right. And leadership, it starts up top with Mr. Mara. You got to go into the office there in week 17 and say, listen, we've been trying to find a quarterback since Eli left. I'm not an advocate of tanking, but it wouldn't be the first time that an NFL team intentionally lost a game. And now, you're trying to get back into the position you held, and you'll probably have to give up a 2026 first-round pick to get there. And listen, you got to do what you got to do. I would much rather go get the best quarterback in the draft and give up future draft equity than get one of these journeyman Band-Aid catastrophes is what we're looking at, guys.
So let's get into the quarterbacks, Rick. Obviously, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, those are the two big ones.
Yeah.
Talk about them. And look, Tennessee has not signed anybody in his free agency. They have not brought in a veteran. You could read into that and say, okay, well, they're going to go quarterback now. It looks like they're leaning towards somebody, either Shedeur or Cam, probably Cam, if anybody. And they're not going to trade out of that number one. You can just see, those free agent actions a lot of times kind of sort of like you get a feel what they're going to do in the draft. And that's the feel I'm getting from them. So is it Ward, Sanders? How do you rate these two guys? And if Shedeur's there at 3, would you go with him? Talk about these two guys. How do you rate them?
Well, I'll talk about Tennessee first, and then I'll get into how I rate them. I think Tennessee is going to go Cam Ward. I do. And if there's a football observer out there that believes the Tennessee Titans are going to go into the season with Will Levis as their starting quarterback again, I've got
you got to bridge yourself.
Right, yeah. So, and I took some criticism today with my mock draft because I got Cam Ward 1, I got Shedeur Sanders 2. That's how I see the draft.
I don't know why I didn't mock you for that.
Yeah, that's how I'm seeing it too, brother. That's how I see it.
And now I will say this before I get into my opinion. The Giants are all in on Shedeur. I mean, I've seen it. I witnessed it. I was there in Dallas. They had damn near 30 front office personnel executives at the East-West Shrine Bowl. Joe Schoen flew in. Brian Daboll flew in to meet with Shedeur Sanders. They were just about the only head coach and GM that were even there. And I've seen them all day, all week, all night. I mean, they're in on Shedeur. You saw them. They went out to Boulder. He's hanging out, doing his due diligence. So they'd love to have Shedeur Sanders. How do they get him? They got to give up some draft equity. That's how it's going to go down if they really want to pull the trigger and get it right, because I believe Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in this draft.
Hey, there's somebody who agrees with me. Jerry?
That's good. Oh, I hope so.
Listen,
Rick,
Shedeur is an assassin. Okay?
Wow.
This guy is a killer. And I'll tell you one thing, Colorado, Jackson State, they didn't rise to prominence because of Coach Prime. The guy doesn't even wear a headset. Okay? I mean, Pat Shermer, Mike Zimmer, they're calling plays. Nice. Coach Prime is a motivator. God bless him. He offers nothing at the NFL level as a head coach. But the reason why those programs turned around was because of Shedeur Sanders. He literally put those teams on his back and carried them to winning seasons. And these programs haven't even whiffed anything close to the success they had under Shedeur Sanders. And so I understand the criticism. They're going to say, oh, well, he doesn't have a strong arm. Yeah, great. The NFL is won in the short to intermediate part of the field. They're going to say, oh, well, he tends to hold on to the football too long. Yeah, well, he doesn't throw interceptions, does he? Smart guy. This guy had zero run game. This guy
How about his offensive line, Rick?
Had a worse offensive line than the New York Giants.
2 years ago, they were horrific.
Yeah. This year was pretty bad too.
Yeah, and I just got a little bit better this year, but that wasn't good either. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, this guy, imagine what it looks like with protection or a running back, right? Like, he's going to be a better pro than a college player. And so what I'll tell you is I studied both of these men. And, like, to me, Cam Ward has some EJ Manuel to him. Like, you're going to see the splash plays and the wow throws and go, oh, my God, like, only a handful of people in the world can make those kind of throws, right? But when you stack the consistency, the decision-making, the intangibles, because I believe Shedeur Sanders is, like, mature beyond anybody wants to give him credit for. If you ever watch him conduct a press conference and call out the media for their BS and holds players accountable and came up around the game. He knows what it takes. And I think the intangibles are what is going to separate him at the next level when he goes on to have success. But I think that it's like he can't do any right in the national mainstream media's eyes. They're just going to try to tear this man down. We got 30 days to go to the draft. This is what we do. We build them up, and then we break them down. And he's built for this. And so, you can say all you want about all the sideshow. I think this guy is, like, more focused than people realize. I think he's very intelligent, and I think he's going to be a factor in the National Football League.
Do you think he gets past the Browns, Rick, or do you think the Giants are going to have to trade with them to get him?
I don't think he gets past the second pick.
Wow. All right, so that's it. He's going to sit. Then the Giants, okay, then.
So you have to trade to get him, right?
Okay, all right. Well, say they don't trade to get him. Just say, because nothing's going right for us in quite a while. Yeah. I still think it's going to be Sanders one way or the other, Rick, so I agree. But say they don't trade up. What do you think the Giants do? And is Jackson Dart in play at 3? Please tell me no.
No.
Please tell me no. Okay.
No, come on.
Okay. No, I hope not.
I think that's a media, like, the media fabricates these stories. I can't fathom Jackson Dart. And I was a big supporter of Jackson Dart coming into the season. Now,
sure.
Look at, like, outside of Ohio State, Ole Miss will probably have more players drafted than any other program. What's that tell you?
Yeah, right.
This guy, I mentioned Will Levis at the top of the show. There's some similarities there because going into his senior season, Will Levis, people don't realize this. Will Levis, he played so good, he got his offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen, fired that year. That's how good Will Levis was. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Jackson Dart had all these expectations, but couldn't deliver in the clutch. He had opportunities to win some big-time games. I picked Ole Miss to win the national championship, but in big-time moments, he couldn't deliver, and that bothers me. Yeah. And that's not a gamer, and that's not a guy I want to build my franchise around. Okay, And so, unfortunately, there's only two guys really that are that quote unquote franchise quarterback. And, as Yogi used to say, you look around the room, it's getting late early.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of options left out here.
Yeah. We're 20 minutes in, guys. We already have almost 900 watching. So, Rick, thank you. You equal ratings before we go to break. Got a shout out to Tuto. Massive salutes and respect to Jaron, our paisano, Chris Biz, and all diehard fans across the pond. Greetings from our entire rugby club in Italy.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Tuto. Tuto chimes in every podcast. He's the man. Guys, we're going to take a break.
Love it.
And be right back after this. You listen to the Giant Insider podcast. Hang on one second. Nothing beats March basketball. Bring the fun of a bracket to every game day by making entries on Underdog. Underdog is one of the leading sports apps, and you can play now in your state. To play, choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats like points, assists, rebounds, and more. They've got all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. Download the app today and use code TGI, that's for the Giant Insider, to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Download the Underdog app and sign up now using the promo code TGI to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus credits when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with the promo code TGI. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus credits instantly upon your first deposit. Must be 18 years of age or older, 19 years of age or older in Alabama and New England. Oh, I'm sorry, Nebraska. 19 years of age or older in Colorado for some games. 21 years of age or older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Void where prohibited. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Thank you. And we're back, folks. Listen to the Giant Insider podcast with Jerry Foley and Chris Nobody Eats the Biz, Bizignano, and our very special guest on this St. Patrick's Day, Ric Serritella. Go ahead, Chris.
Rick, how's the rest of the league feeling about Sanders? I mean, what's the feeling you're getting? Do you think I know, only a few teams could try to trade up. They need quarterbacks now, but
yeah, no, I had those
conversations.
Yeah, I had a lot of those conversations at the Senior Bowl, especially with some of the front office personnel. I was taken aback. It seems like there's a consensus feeling that Cam Ward is QB1 and Sanders is QB2. That seems to be the general consensus. I couldn't find anyone, quite honestly, that had Sanders over Ward. From just a handful of guys, 6 or 7 personnel guys that I spoke to, they all had Ward on the top. And, I think a lot of it, guys, comes down to situation, circumstance, game plan, continuity, vision, all of which the Giants have had none of. Like, Brian Daboll was supposed to be this offensive mastermind guru. I haven't seen any of that. Okay. Where is it? So, Joe Schoen is supposed to be this grinder who came in through the ranks, started off in the ticket office. I mean, it might have been better off for everybody if he just stayed there. It's just been, I'm like, and I can say this, I'm not a beat reporter. I'm not a credentialed media writer for the Giants. And I've said this on other shows. As a Giants fan, being from New Jersey, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to watch this. I didn't even know that stat about the 2021 draft. And I didn't know they could have had, like, draft picks are lotto tickets. You could have had a day 3 pick for Ojulari and you let him walk out the door for $4 million. 0 game plan, 0 vision, 0 conviction, and it's just like now you're just swinging from vine to vine, whatever quarterback. Hey, bring in Joey Flacco. Let's talk to Jameis Winston. Hey, Russell Wilson, what are you doing today? I mean, like, give me a break. What a joke. It's an embarrassment, really. And it's an insult to the Giants fans. It's an insult to everybody in this show listening right now. It's insulting.
A lot of Giant fans are with you, Rick. I can tell you that. A lot of Giant fans are with you. And no fairness to Joe, that wasn't his draft 21. That was Gettleman's last.
It doesn't matter. It's
as far as letting guys,
it's been a debacle that hasn't stopped for the past decade.
Yeah, look, 2022 and 23 was not good. Okay, Thibodeau 5th overall is not a 5th overall talent. Evan Neal's a bust. So it's not. Look, it hasn't been good. Last year's draft class was better. We'll see how that works out.
Other than the receiver, like, who are you building around on this team? Like, who are the blue chip play? Who are the cornerstone players of this
Yeah.
franchise? Like the Giants are not an Aaron Rodgers away from being a playoff team.
No.
So why waste your time?
No.
There's needs all over the place. Get the quarterback right. Give up the draft picks, whatever you got to do to move up. Go get your guy.
They might not even have that chance, Rick.
Right. If they don't, Rick, I was going to ask you this. Sorry, Chris. If they don't, then the logical pick at 3 is Abdul Carter. No, because you need everything and you need an identity, and this gives you the chance to make up for what you did wrong in 2021 with Micah Parsons by trading down and taking Kadarius Toney.
Well, here's why I say no, Jerry.
Okay.
Because one, I have Travis Hunter as the best player in the draft. That's one. But two, this whole foot situation, I mean, eventually he's going to need a screw in that foot. He doesn't need one right now, but it's just like, remember Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech, who's hanging out with the Raiders? Same deal. And so, like, whether he has the surgery now, whether it's down the road, that's a 2-month recovery. Then you got a screw in the foot situation. Like, I think that's a little bit more serious than they're letting on. And so to me, like, Travis Hunter is so clean, so fresh and so clean. This guy.
What do you use him as?
He's a corner. He's a corner first and foremost. And wouldn't he look great opposite of Paulson and Debo? I mean, all of a sudden now a weakness becomes a strength. Hunter, Debo. Are you kidding? That's great. And so then you put a package. He's probably your second best wide receiver. So you build a package around him on offense. And this is a guy that, to me, I mean, if I was picking number 1, like Tennessee, I'd probably take him and figure out the quarterback later because he's that good.
You think he's that good to do that?
I do. I mean, this guy's a lockdown corner. The instincts, the ball skills, the athleticism. He's got size. Pretty good kid too. And I don't think you can go wrong with Travis Hunter. And Abdul Carter's a great talent. And listen, I'm not privy to what the medical exam said in Indianapolis. I don't know if he's going to get recalled back to those medical re-exams. But to me, like when I'm picking in the top 5, I want the surest bet as possible. I want to eliminate risk. I want as few concerns as possible. And that right foot is going to be weighing on my mind about, like, hey, is it lingering? Do we need to clean this up? When do we get it done? What's the timing of it? What's the long-term ramifications? How much impact is it going to have?
Rick, are you hearing? Is he going to work out at his pro day, Carter?
It's a great question, Biz. I don't know. I haven't heard it one way or the other. I believe it's March.
I'm just curious if you heard it.
Yeah, I think it's March 27th, 10 days away.
Yeah, it's right coming up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope to be out there, but I haven't heard whether he will or won't.
Well, obviously that'll be a little alarming if he doesn't. If he doesn't work out at his pro day, something's going on with that foot.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So, look, Travis Hunter is a dynamic talent. Hey, Rick, just going back to Sanders a second. We were talking about like a month ago or so, and I was saying on this podcast that, look, Shedeur Sanders is the only NFL-ready quarterback to come out of this draft, in my opinion. Okay? I saw that kid 2 years ago, Rick, catch a beating up front. His offensive line, you could have been better tackles, Rick. And he kept making throws downfield, bro, under pressure. And it was impressive at times. And I know, like you said, a lot of people seem to want to shoot this kid down. I don't know, it's because he's a flamboyant, his father, his hat's on back, the whole act, But I'm sticking with it. Jerry's been riding it too about as far as the Giants want Sanders more than Ward. That's the feeling we're getting. I've been saying that for months, right, Jerry? I've been saying this for
no doubt.
They like Shedeur. They like Shedeur. I've been saying it. And I feel he's the most NFL ready coming out. And I know people going back and forth with this. Time will tell, right? Like everything else, right? But it'll be interesting. I don't know if Cleveland or Tennessee want to trade out of it. I think they go 1 and 2 now. That's the feeling.
You got to go get him. You got to go make an offer you can't refuse. What did Mac Jones go for? They traded up 3 first-round picks. I don't care if you give up 2026 and 2027 first round picks. It sounds crazy, but you go get your guy and you get it done, because otherwise, if you don't, look at the alternative. You'll be right back. We'll be on this show next year talking about the new GM, the new head coach, the new quarterback they're going to get. So don't worry about future equity at this point. You've backed yourself into the corner. Now rectify it. Make it right. Have conviction. If you believe in Sanders, if you think this guy is a franchise quarterback, then the cost is irrelevant.
Yeah, no, that's true. Look, they were trying that last year with New England, and New England, unless they came in with an incredible package, weren't trading out of it. So they wanted to get their guy. So we'll see how that works out. You know what I mean? So, but Rick, Jackson Dart, you have him as a first round grade, or how do you have him?
No, I like Jalen Milroe more for the upside than I do Jackson Dart. I have both of those guys as second round grades. Okay, to me, Jalen Milroe reminds me of Lamar Jackson. He's just such an undeveloped thrower of the football, very raw passer, flashes incredible deep ball accuracy at times. And so to me, that's the skill set I want to try to develop. And I know it might be a little outdated in the 2025 NFL landscape, but if I can have Jalen Milroe sit behind somebody for a year or two and develop and learn how to read a defense, that guy has elite scrambling ability and speed.
His speed is off the charts, man.
It's ridiculous. And I've seen him squeeze the ball into tight windows and make some wow throws. I'm not a big fan of that Kalen Daber over there at Alabama. To me, good coaches adapt and adjust to good players and build around their skill sets. I think they tried to, he tried to bring his system over from Washington and plug Milroe into that system, and it didn't work out. But to me, like if I'm a team that has to pull the trigger like the Steelers, and I gotta find somebody, again, I'd rather develop a Jalen Milroe than roll the dice with one of these has-beens. And so to me, I have Shedeur 1, Cam Ward 2. I got Milroe and Dart in that round 2 area, and then Quinn Ewers, Will Howard, Tyler Shuck from Louisville has been getting a lot of love, but I'm not buying it. It's really a weak quarterback class.
You're not buying Dylan Gabriel either, huh?
No, I'll pass.
I'm with you. I agree with you there, Rick.
Not playing devil's advocate, but fans have been saying this, Rick. So I'm just going to throw it out there.
Yeah.
You talk about you got to get your quarterback this year. Is the quarterback class next year just exponentially better than this one? I'm just asking you that now.
Well, it'd be a great storybook ending to the conclusion of finding their quarterback if they could pluck an Arch Manning.
Yeah, I'm not even asking about Arch though, but yeah, no, obviously, sure. Yeah,
It'd be a great storyline, but I mean, who wants to play for last place?
No, I don't. Right? I'm tired of it. No, right.
So like,
but fans have been asking about it. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, well, so like Arch Manning to me is the guy. Lenore Sellers from South Carolina might give him a run for the money. So those are the two guys at the forefront. And like, say what you want about Carson Beck and all the injury and controversy, but I mean, NFL teams I talk to still think he could be a first-round quarterback.
Carson Beck, yeah.
You're looking at Arch Manning, Lenore Sellers, Carson Beck right now as we sit here in March of 2025.
If Arch even comes out, right? I can see him staying another
That's
year,
another one.
Yeah, NIL, you never know.
And you know what? Let's watch him play 12, 13 games too. So
right.
We'll see.
Yeah.
What's the deepest position in this draft coming up, Rick?
I would say defensive line, whether you like the tackles or you like the edge rushers. I mean, it's deep, it's talented, it's loaded. That's where I would go in terms of depth. And, I'm a big fan of this tight end class. I like these tight ends, man. Tyler Warren, to me, is a top 5 talent. I got him going, I think, number 8 to the Saints. I said, watch out for the Warren cat. Imagine him in New Orleans. But Colston Loveland, This guy,
I like him, Rick. I like him a lot.
And like he played the whole season injured. Like I think he had this right foot injury that he played through the entire season. But he gives me like Heath Miller vibes, that Colston Loveland. And then you got like a bunch of X factors like Elijah Arroyo from Miami. I think this guy has got wheels. He's like a 1-year wonder, one of these one-hit wonders, Oasis. Remember Oasis? You know, you had Green Day with a good album. Then you had Oasis.
Don't look back in anger. Yes.
Yeah, the one-hit wonders of Elijah Arroyo.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I tell you, I wasn't disappointed more than anyone with the Bowling Green tight end because I wanted to love this kid. He really came to play at the Senior Bowl. And then he was giving me these Antonio Gates vibes. And then he ran the 4.72 40, which is just not going to cut it. But, man, I'm curious to see how his NFL career is going to pan out. But there's quite a few tight ends.
117 catches, Rick, for that kid from Bowling Green. I mean, that's pretty damn good no matter what F you're playing. Bro.
He can get open. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's pretty damn good. I think he had like 8 or 9 or 11 touchdowns, something like that. I mean, that kid was
incredible.
And he had a very good senior week, man. That kid's stock went woof, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. So defensive line, obviously. But hey, Rick, this kid Pierce from Tennessee, man, I could see this kid going up first round, middle to late first round, Rick. That's where I kind of grade him out now. But I tell you talk about a kid that had an impressive combine. Woof, boy. So talk about some of these kids on the D line, these edge guys on the defensive line.
Yeah, I joked about James Pierce Jr. Like if you were to manufacture the ideal frame of what a edge rusher in the NFL would look like, it would, the machine would spit out a guy, a mold, the clay mold that looks like James Pierce Jr., right? And let's talk about the edge rushers, right? So, like everybody's aware of Abdul Carter. I don't think he's quite on the Micah Parsons level of pass rushing, but he's more of a, I think he's a Von Miller type. Like you could stand him up, you could play him defensive end. I think you could kind of fit him where you need him. Michael Williams out of Georgia. Like, I think this is a guy in the top 10. I think I might even have him in the top 5 of my mock draft. Very similar to Trayvon Walker in terms of just athleticism and traits. And again, like these Georgia pass rushers, you don't see freaky production because they rotate a lot. And, Michael Williams played with an ankle injury all season long. But like this guy, in terms of traits and characteristics, he might be the best of the bunch. I mean, he might even have more upside than Abdul Carter. And then I have James Pierce Jr. as number 3. I checked in with some of my NFL contacts in terms of like the character concerns.
Rick, I was just gonna put you on the spot because somebody whispered in my ear, little character stuff going on there. So Rick, we do this to you every year, buddy.
Yeah.
So have you heard the same thing with some characters?
I did, and I checked it. No, I checked in on it, and I think it's more mirage than real.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But I did hear that too, Rick. I was just about to put you on the spot.
Yeah. No, it's more smoke than realness.
Cool.
So, yeah. So like, I agree. Like, I think he's a top 20 talent, no doubt.
Yeah.
Now I do want to see him be able to finish better because he had like incredible, like something like 200 pressures and 20 sacks. Like, I'd like to see the ratio of him being able to finish and he can get to the quarterback. Can you finish is really where he takes his next steps. Mike Green.
Oh, that's my second part. I was just going to ask you about.
Listen, Marshall, he was very open about his sexual misconduct allegations at Virginia. He transferred from Virginia due to some allegations. Mm-hmm. Okay. He also had some allegations in high school. Now, he's been very forthcoming. He's been very decisive in saying that, hey, I've never been charged with anything. Nothing ever came out of it. So we don't really know what happened there. He's claiming he's never been charged. I don't know the details of it all, but I know the NFL is going to get this guy in a room and grill him because of his past. That's not something you want to mess with. Short arms, 32-inch arms is going to be another issue. But, you know, like the way he barreled over Connerly at the Senior Bowl, the play of the week, I can't get it out of my head. I mean, that was, you know, he embarrassed the guy. And you don't just develop that kind of speed to power type of skill set. Like you either have it or you don't.
Hey, guys, one more break, guys. 40 minutes in. We're going to take
We'll get back to Mike Green. I want to ask you something about Rick.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Cool. One more break, guys. Right back after this. Listen to the John Insider podcast. Hang on one second. Rounding third base, 8-year-old Dalton's leg began to hurt. Despite over 3 years of treatment, including chemo and amputation and multiple clinical trials and surgeries, Dalton, or D, passed away at 12 years old from cancer. His parents and Giant fans, Jen and Will, formed Defeat Cancer to help discover targeted treatments and help kids like Dalton and the 16,000 American kids diagnosed with cancer each year. 100% of donations to Defeat Cancer directly fund pediatric cancer research. Please help them at www.defeatcancer.org. That's www.defeetcancer.org. Thank you. And we're back. Folks, listen to the Giant Insider podcast with Jerry Foley and Chris. Nobody Beats the Biz Ignano, and our special guest, Ric Serritella. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Rick, getting back to Mike Green, I mean, am I crazy to say he might be top 3 at his draft explosive-wise? When I watched him at Bowling Green, when I watched a lot of, you know, when I started getting into this college stuff and draft season, I looked at a kid, man. I said, wow, show me somebody that's more explosive than him. I mean, you know, that's what I saw with him, man. That dude is explosive, man. I mean, I think I got him in the middle going towards those 23, 20. I think he's a first-round grade too, Rick, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this guy's explosive, and he's got a pass rush repertoire. He can bend. He can dip, he can rip, he can chop. I mean, he came at you every which angle. I saw him in those one-on-one drills. His hand combat repertoire, it's as good as anybody in the draft, no doubt about it. You talk about explosion. This Olawafemi Oladejo out of UCLA. To me, like if you can't get one of these day one edge rushers, that's the guy I'm targeting on day 2. And he was the linebacker at UCLA. They start moonlighting him in the edge rusher spot this year. Incredible length. My eyes just kept going to him in Mobile. Like he's just got an imposing presence, great get off, just raw, right? Like you see it, like it's just raw. He needs to be taught some technique. But when you talk about length and size and explosiveness, Olawafemi Oladejo out of UCLA is a guy I love. And I like the Boston College kid too, Donovan Azaruku. He's got some get off. He's a little bit shorter, like 6'2.5", but he's got 34-inch arms, so his length is going to be okay. He's got as good as like him and Mike Green probably got the 2 quickest get offs I've seen in this year's draft. But like you need an edge rusher, this is a good draft for it. You need a defensive tackle. Those are locked and loaded and deep as well.
Where do you have Mason Graham, Rick?
You know, I have Mason Graham as my first defensive tackle right now. I don't have him on the pedestal as a lot of the others because I don't know if his like he's paying rent in the backfield at the college level. He's back there so much. I don't know if that translates to the NFL. Short arms, kind of squatty frame, smallish squatty frame, and not a lot of sack production, right? Like he doesn't really get to the quarterback that much. But he can provide some pressure up the middle, and I think he's going to be a very good pro. I just don't have him in that top 5 category. Like Walter Nolan is a guy
I like his teammate, Rick. I like his teammate.
Yeah,
I like Grant too, man.
Yeah. I mean,
you don't like not a Grant guy? You're not a Grant guy?
I don't see it personally. I've been trying to find it, but I mean, I get it. He's athletic for his size. I don't know how good of a football. Like Mason Graham's a good football player. You know, I don't know. Kenneth Grant doesn't do it for me. I understand the allure. Like Deone Walker from Kentucky. I understand. You know, like this guy eats space, but I saw him get stood up by 5'10" Willie Lampkin. You know, I mean. You know, he's 6'8", and you got a 5'10" center standing you up. So the defensive tackle Walter Nolan, this guy's pretty explosive and fast and agile, but he's only he's not even 300 pounds. But
I got to ask you about Walter Nolan too. I've heard. Did you hear anything about him, character wise?
Yeah, I did. I did hear those whispers too. I can't say that I have any inside intel there.
Okay.
But I did hear the whispers.
Mm-hmm. Well, Rick, this is the New York Giants, so of course we have to talk offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, are we ever not going to talk about the offensive line of the Giants? Look, to me, right guard, they got to upgrade. Okay, I know they just re-signed Van Roten, and they brought back the usual, the Stennies, and the veterans, the cheap deals. We seem to see this a lot with Joe, right? So, you look at the offensive line, Rick. You consider it deep. I mean, I gotta be honest with you, bro. The two guys, Campbell and Banks. Do you see them as tackles in this league in the future, or do you think they're going to be shifted over to guards in the next few years? I mean, does the arm length concern you with Campbell, Rick?
It's funny, like his tendency to give up speed and give up the inside is what bothers me. Like, I know he didn't allow a sack this past year, but man, he gets beat on the inside with speed and quickness so often that's what bothers me more than the arm length. Maybe it's because of the arm length. I don't know. But that is the concern to me when it comes to Campbell. But this guy, I mean, he I hate to say it, he reminds me of Robert Gallery.
Oof.
I mean, but that's not. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that in a way where, like, if you want, and I think Gallery made the Pro Bowl as a guard.
Yeah, but
so like, if you want, if you want a really good guard, I'm all for Will Campbell. I can't justify taking him in the top 5. I like Banks for what it's worth, but his footwork is a little bit choppy, short steps. I don't know if that's going to allow him to survive at the next level, but Banks would be like, this guy is an incredible, he has not missed a start at left tackle since his sophomore year of high school. Elvin Banks, and they won 2 state championships in high school. So that's a guy to me that brings pedigree. Campbell to me is a guard. Membo is a guard. Okay, I don't see a lot of franchise altering tackles. I like Simmons from Ohio State, pending his medical, and I think Anthony Belton out of North Carolina State is as good as any tackle in this draft. And I like the kid from Minnesota, Ariante Arise, in terms of tackles. But,
how about Gray Zabel as a guard, Rick? You have him center guard. Who do you have, Gray?
I have him as my number 3 guard right now behind Tyler Booker and Donovan Jackson.
Okay.
But I have him as a top 25 player. So, I guess the guard draft is loaded then, because I know some teams like Gray Zabel at center. And then I got a guy like Joshua Gray out of Oregon State. If he's not a starting NFL guard, then my name's not Ric Serritella.
Really?
Joshua Gray. That guy, I mean, he plays all 5 positions, started at tackle, started at guard, can play center, great footwork, lateral movement, feisty and ferocious, plays with a chip, a great bend, waist, knee bender. Joshua Gray, one of the most underrated players in the draft.
So, Rick, for that second pick for the Giants, if they decide to go offensive line, who do you think is there that you could pencil in at guard? Who do you think will still be around?
I think Booker, Donovan Jackson might be there. I did my mock draft yesterday, and Jackson was still there at the end. It was between him and Gray Zabel for my Kansas City Chiefs selection. So Donovan Jackson, to me, this guy is a great guard. He kicked out to left tackle when Josh Simmons went down. Was it week 2?
Yeah.
And then, if you watched him in the college football playoffs, I think he actually stated the case to give himself a chance to at least get a shot. 33 and 4/8 inch arms, 84-inch wingspan. He might get a shot to play left tackle at the NFL based on the body of work. This guy was just stonewall. You talk about Ohio State went up against some pretty good teams with some pretty good pass rushers. This guy didn't allow an ounce. So I like that Donovan Jackson. I like Joshua Gray. Dylan Fairchild from Georgia is a pretty good player too. And then Marcus Mabal from Purdue. Like, you talk about a guy that just irks opponents. I watched this guy at the Senior Bowl, and like there's nothing elite about him. His athleticism isn't going to stand out. He's not going to wow you, but like he just plays through the whistle, and his technique is so good. He irritates the defenders because they can't get by him, and they get pissed off. And I watched him like stonewall guys rep after rep at the Senior Bowl and just piss people off. And I like those kind of players, man. You know, it's one of those guys you love to have on your team.
I love
and you
him,
hate playing against them, you know?
So Rick, I'm going to kick it over to the chat. Jamie Cage asks, what's Rick's best case scenario for the G-Men in the first few rounds of the draft? Need some positivity.
Yeah, let's talk about some positivity. I mean, Travis Hunter falls to you at 3, the best player in the draft. What's not to like about that? Right?
What about Porte Banks? What are you doing with him then?
Huh? Yeah, right.
What are you doing with Porte Banks then if you draft Travis Hunter? What are you trading him on draft day? Second day of the draft, you trade him? What are you doing with him?
No, listen, you make it work, you know. You make it
this
work.
is Shane Bowen we're talking
about. As our
Rick.
fourth corner.
What do you mean
as
you
our
make
fourth
it
corner,
work?
basically. Yeah. So go ahead.
You got it. When you're the Giants, you got to draft the best player available.
Right. So you got Hunter at 1, and then what? You know,
I'm going to come back in round 2, and I'm going to give you another weapon in Trey Harris.
Trey, huh? The old Miss kid, huh?
Yeah,
like
Trey
him,
Harris. Huh? Like, if we're here doing the show 10 years from now, and you tell me that Trey Harris turned out to be the best wide receiver in this year's draft, I would not be surprised. Now, it comes with an asterisk because of the injury concerns, right? Like, I think he only played 8 games this year, missed some action. But in terms of size and quickness, route running, physicality, Trey Harris would be the ultimate complementary weapon to pair with Malik Neighbors. Okay, so how's that for optimism?
And all right, and two picks in round 3. I'm not going to go through everything, but two more picks in round 3. Who are you grabbing?
All right, we'll come back in round 3. I'm going to grab my guy Joshua Gray, who I just talked about. We're going to plug him in and compete for that starting guard job. And then I'm going to come back and give you a real tight end in Mason Taylor. Okay. Mason Taylor, a guy that, you know, his blocking needs some work, but I love the way he runs his routes. I thought he was underutilized at LSU. They did a lot of dinks and dunks to him and let him create after the catch. But this guy can be a downfield threat, man. He's got wheels. He can find the open seam. He's a great hands, and he plays full speed. Like, he was the most impressive player that ran through the gauntlet drill that I witnessed in Indianapolis. And that says something because you're going high speed. You got balls coming at you like darts. This guy's got great hands. He's got a nasty to him, and he's got the bloodlines that I love. So we need weapons on offense. And, you know,
you just went 4 picks on offense. So Jameis Winston's going to be psyched, Rick. I know. I know, but he's gonna have 10 plays for offense, right?
And, you know, you're not giving any love to my boy Mitchell Evans, Rick. I'm not too happy about that.
I like Mitchell Evans. I do like.
I mean, he's on his second year coming off that injury. Next summer. You know what I mean?
Well, I told you, and you know, I was trying to think of who I was forgetting when I was talking about the tight end class. I'm like, there's one more guy that I really, really like, and Mitchell Evans was that guy. So, like, you know, Luke Lachey from Iowa is another one. Like this tight end class. Terrence Ferguson from Oregon, another one. Great tight end class, but you know, we got to get the Giants right. We got to get it tight. We got to get it right. Tudo, even in Italy, they know the offensive line needs reinforcements, right? They got to take at least 2 offensive linemen. And, you know, listen, Gray Zabel would be, if Gray Zabel's still there in round 2, like this guy stepped in.
I like him, man.
You know, everybody wanted a piece of Zabel. All the FBS Power 4 schools were calling out, I want Zabel. And Zabel would get in. He would line up at center. He would line up at guard. He would take snaps at tackle. And he just stonewalled everybody. It was incredible. One of the best Senior Bowl performances I've ever witnessed. Gray Zabel.
Rick, I got to be honest with you, okay? They took him in the second round. Holy shit! I'll be putting him in there competing against JMS. I'd be putting him at center, okay, to see what the hell he does, because I'm not a big JMS fan. I got to be.
Well, I like the kid from Boston College. Kendall is a great player, man.
I'm just saying, if they went with Zabel in the second round, obviously he's a guard and all that, but he could play center too, Rick. You know
he can, yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, look, that would be a nice pick. They need that, the offensive line up front. They need that guard, and I'm not sold on John Michael Schmitz either, up front. So I don't know how you feel about him, but to me, he's not progressing the way he should be, John Michael Schmitz. So we'll see what he does in year 3, but we'll see how that works out. So, hey, Rick, just one guy who really stood out to me. Inside linebacker, the kid from Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, I like him a lot, Rick, too. I know we're not, not first round. I know Giants-wise, no.
Sure.
But, dude, I think that kid is off the charts, brother. Somebody's going to be really happy.
Rick City, New Jersey. He's from Newark. So, little Jersey love. He runs faster than 95% of the running backs in this year's draft.
Oh man, is he fast?
And I got to be honest with you guys. Like after that combine, I went back and watched him, and I tend to believe like this guy should be used as a situational pass rusher. Like he's good at getting after the quarterback when they employed him in that kind of role. I think there's more of that in his future. And so, like we talked about the edge rusher class, we didn't mention Jalen Walker or Jahad Campbell, both of whom could be used as edge rushers at the next level. And I don't know if people are talking about that, but I now like Campbell more as an edge than I do as a off ball. And I saw the question pop up there about which quarterback in free agency would I like.
Yeah, that's from NY Giants Society. Who does Rick want in free agency to be our quarterback?
I don't want any of those guys because I don't want to waste a season with retreads. If I got to go that route, like I saw New England was dangling Joe Milton for a 3rd round pick, I would counter with a 4th and try to develop that guy before I waste a year down the Jameis Winston road to nowhere.
Well, that's
Joe
what I was
Flacco,
saying. Yeah.
Joe Flacco 4 years past his retirement age debacle. Like spare me that Sunday. Russell Wilson, not a guy. I'd rather have Tommy Cutlets starting. Okay.
Well, they got to win some games. Joe, Rick, you know that they got to win a few games this year. So
you think that's true? You think they're asking for a 3rd for Milton?
That's what I heard. I
saw it too. I just didn't know how true it was. That's all.
Well, I did talk to those guys, and Milton is on the market.
And so if you're the Giants, rather than one of those retreads, and I think it's just the Giants need excitement right now. Pick 3 is going to give them some excitement. So if they took Hunter, that'd be exciting. Chris and I talked about this last year. Last year going into training camp, Chris, I was like, what's the feel? And Chris was like, there is none. And you could just feel going into the season, there was nothing. Drafting a Hunter or a Carter even, right?
Well, if you want to feel excited, you sign Aaron Rodgers. Go for it.
No, but I mean, I'm not saying feel, but like enthusiasm. There's not going to be enthusiasm for Rodgers. It's going to be, wow, we're interesting now because we don't know what he's going to do next. That's the feel with Rodgers.
Well, there's not going to be any enthusiasm for any of those guys. What I'll say is, like, at this stage of his career, Aaron Rodgers is a one-read quarterback, and the Giants, I believe I saw 265 quarterback pressures allowed last year, which, I'm not a mathematician, but I think it's about 12 QB pressures per game, which is about 50% of your dropbacks. You have less than 2.5 seconds to throw the ball, which would equate great to Aaron Rodgers because all he does is read one target, and if it's not there, then throws it to Alan Lazard or Devontae Adams.
No, my point was Milton could kind of bring that. That's what I'm saying. If they traded for Milton, you're going to feel at least like there's a shot here of some excitement and some developing of a talented young quarterback. That's what I mean.
Yeah, there's more upside with a guy like that. There's something to be, if you want something to be excited about, at least like it's the unknown.
Right.
So, hey, it could be great. It's like Anthony Richardson. It's the boom or bust. It could be great. It could be terrible. But at least there's the excitement of the unknown where I know what I'm getting with Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston or even Aaron Rodgers. I'm getting mediocrity. And that's not what the Giants fans deserve. That's not what this franchise has ever been about or ever will be about. But, it's questionable right now.
Yeah.
So, Ricky, look, you can never have enough corners in football, in the throwing NFL, as we know.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to that position yet, buddy. I mean, besides, obviously, Travis Hunter is the elite of the group. But talk about some of these other guys. How do you like Will Johnson? Do you have him as a first round grade?
I do have him as a first round grade. I know there's some concerns about whether he's going to run at pro day. Will he run or won't he run? What's his time speed? I'm not worried about that. He's a little bit stiff in the hips, got great length, great coverage ability. So to me, he's right up there. I mean, let's see. I have Will Johnson, number 3 behind Jahdae Barron, the Thorpe Award winner, who's
Texas, right?
Yeah, 4 inches shorter, but this guy
4.39. I got him as a 4.39. Rick, you got him that? That's a 4.3 kid.
Yeah, I do have him as a 4.39. 35-inch vert, hit 23 miles per hour on that 40-yard dash attempt. And so, Maxwell Hairston, he's got wheels too now. He hit 4.28, didn't he? 4.28.
Maxwell Harrison, yeah, I got him.
Now, Barron and Hairston have the same 10-yard split at 1.5, so they're both explosive. Hairston's a little light at 183. Okay, but Hairston is versatile. He's adept in man. He can play quarters coverage and zone. So to me, I have Hunter, Jahdae Barron, Will Johnson, Maxwell Hairston, and then Trey Amos. Trey Amos, again, one of these guys that doesn't get talked about enough. Like, he's a first-round pick to me, Trey Amos. Size, physicality, boundary, man cover corner. I like me some Trey Amos. And then Dorian Strong, you want some day 2 guys like Virginia Tech. Dorian Strong, I think, you could stack him up man for man, pound for pound. I like that kid, 6'1", little light, 185. And then Noel Williams. Noel Williams had a Senior Bowl invite. He turned it down to go play in the Shrine Bowl. 6 foot, 200 pounds, smooth mover. I think he led the NCAA with 8 interceptions. Just a true nose for the football. I mean, the ball skills and instincts on Noel Williams are what starters are made of. And then we didn't mention Benjamin Morrison.
I was going to yell at you, Paisan, for not mentioning my Notre Dame guy.
Yeah, listen, there's a lot to like there. I liked his 2023 film, obviously a lot more. It was a short sample size this year before he got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt last year.
He got hurt, and I think he only played like 1 game or 2 games. And his film this year before the injury wasn't stellar, but he has laid down some good film. And Notre Dame Pro Day, I believe, is coming up at the end of the month too. I don't know if he'll be working out, but that'll definitely be something worth noting because I don't know what his medical status is. Right.
Rick, one kid I like me personally. I like the length, tall corners. I mean, that kid from Florida State, man. I mean, he's a pretty big boy over there. He can play little man. He's a 6'2". I got him a 6'2", like around 200 pounds.
Yeah.
What do you think about him, man? He seems to be being talked about a little bit.
Yeah, Azaria Thomas, 6'1.5", $197.
Right.
Listen, I saw him at the Senior Bowl. I went back. I had to go home and circle back to the film because, there was a first-round buzz around that guy, and that's how good of a week he had down in Mobile. I still think he's a top 50 selection, pretty good cover corner, really good size, as you alluded to, has some good length to him as well.
Good length. Yep.
Yeah.
Good length, man.
Yeah.
Liked him watching him in Florida State, man. Yep.
Yeah, I have him right now as my number 7. Him and the ECU kid, Siobhan Revel, who, I mean, again, great film before the injury. Don't know what his medical status is, but that ECU kid could play now. Siobhan Revel, he's a really good-looking player.
Sorry, Rick, sucker for type questions like this. 9 Dog Golf asks, what's Rick's favorite Italian restaurant at the shore?
You know, there's a new spot in Seaside that opened last year or 2 years ago now, and they got a place in Tom's River, the Breaking Bread.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so there's the place in Tom's River on Fisher Boulevard, the Breaking Bread Deli.
Mm-hmm.
Now they got Breaking Bread on the Boulevard, on Central Avenue and Seaside. And listen, they give you the antipasto, no questions asked. They bring the prosciutto, the salami, the provolone, the crumbled parmesan right to your table, no questions asked. I didn't ask for this.
Right,
They just bring it.
Right.
And then, like, you know, we gave it a shot. We tried the meatballs, which we never order ever when we go out to eat, never. But we tried them, or they brought them, and it's the only place I ever went back and ordered the meatballs again. So that's a lot.
That's Breaking Bread.
Breaking Bread on the Boulevard.
Can I tell you this, Paisan?
Yeah.
A little Staten Island influence behind that restaurant. There's one in my old neighborhood in Staten Island. So there's a little Staten Island guys.
I believe it. There's a lot of people from Staten Island.
So
that
next
come
time
down
you
this
go,
way.
next time you go in, they go, "Are you the guys from Staten Island? You have a connection."
Yeah.
You know, that's why you like it so much.
Yeah. Well, right now they're there, but you know it's tough. I'll tell you what, guys. Where's the Hickory Hog? Enlighten me. I haven't been there. Enlighten me. I've been to the pig roast at the Sawmill on Sundays, but I'll tell you, it's, you know, for those of us who live year round at the Jersey Shore, it's tough to find a good Italian meal year round, man.
It's getting better.
Well,
it's definitely getting better over the years. No, it's getting
better, but the prices keep going up. Like,
no,
I love
it's gonna happen.
listen, I love Lenny's over here in Lavalette. I love Lenny.
What's the one in Beach? Oh God, Bradley Beach, Pagano's.
I can't say I've been there.
I forget the name of it. It's good. And then there's Vic's in Bradley Beach too.
Yeah. Well, you know, you'll have to invite me to Bradley Beach. I don't really have a need or a desire to go to.
Well, my kid goes to Monmouth, so when we go, I just drive around and let's stop there. So
that's good. That's good. But yeah, you know, it's slim pickings, man. It's not. It's tough. Like being from North Jersey.
Big difference.
It's tough. It's tough.
No, I get it.
Being down here, but
no, I know. Yep.
But hey, I'm open to the recommendations, guys. Please, you know, the island, the 11-mile island, doesn't have a lot to offer.
Nice. Are you good now? Are you, like you got a scram yet? Or are you good for a little bit more?
No, I'm hanging with you guys, man.
Okay, just to make sure you got any other commitments.
Yeah, there's no rush. No, we're good.
Good. Yeah, JVB says Sabaro. That's fine.
So, Shanna, you good? She's good. We're good.
Man, so hey, folks, you know, any questions for Rick? Start sending them in. Draft questions. He knows all these kids that are coming out. So if you have anything on your mind,
Marucas tomato pie is just okay. I think it's a little overrated personally, but I do like a Marucas just to switch it up every now and then.
It's good for boardwalk pizza. That's what it is, Rick.
It's good for boardwalk. That's pizza. Right. It's about as good as you're gonna get on the boardwalk, and you know, Beachcomber's a little underrated over there.
There you go. Nice. All right.
You know,
how's it working with Baldy, Rick?
Yeah, good. Good,
man. We're doing a live stream show every Wednesday, 3:30 p.m. This week we're gonna have RJ Oben on our show, the son of Roman Oben, former New York Giant.
Yeah. We'll also have kid transfer to Notre Dame.
Yes.
Yeah, and he gave him some good quality snaps on the edge last year, Rick, at the end.
Yeah. RJ is going to be on the show. We're going to have the Wilfrid Laurier quarterback. I call him the Canadian Cannon, Taylor Elgersma, who the Giants spoke to for at least a half hour at the Tropical Bowl when I was there. And then he got the call up to the Senior Bowl. I hear his football IQ is like Kurt Warner-esque through the roof. So we're going to have him on the show on Wednesday, as well as Nate Carter, who's from Rochester, New York, New Rock City, in the house, and caught my attention. You know, I used to cover the UConn Huskies, and my good friend Jim Mora recruited this kid as a freshman at UConn. Then he transferred to Michigan State, dealt with a little injury this past season. But Nate Carter, like, you talk about just a gritty, hard-nosed runner with that New York City toughness. Nate Carter's a guy, you know, probably undrafted, but has made make it to kind of traits. But, it's going good, man. We're doing the Baldy breakdowns and allaccessfootball.com. We got the draft Bible flowing, and feel free to support the cause. I'm no longer with the Edmonton Elks. We ran through 3 GMs and 3 head coaches there. So I'm back on the media side with you bozos.
You're back with the enemy, Rick. Hey, Rick, out of curiosity, did you see anybody when you were down at the Senior Bowl and everything that Dable and Shane were kind of maybe giving a little more attention to a couple of different guys? You said, they seem to be pretty interested in that guy. Besides the big names, Rick. Anybody think say, well, they're giving that guy, it looks like giving him a hard look.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see too much of it out in the open, right? Like you just hear some things, but like you couldn't help but to notice them at the Shrine Bowl because they were like the only GM. Joe Schoen was the only GM there, right? And I don't recall seeing a lot of head coaches there, but like Dayball, he spent a lot of time with Mike Vick, believe it or not, in the late night. I'll give you my funny Dayball story in Dallas. I got one. You ready?
Yeah.
So we're coming back to the hotel. It's late, very late, or early, depending on how you want to call it. Might have had a few soda pops, and we're walking back to the hotel, and somebody from Texas I'm hanging out with starts asking me about Jersey. They want to know about New Jersey and what's Jersey like and this and that. And I said, well, when you fly in, you're going to fly in to Newark, New Jersey, which is the armpit of America. Yeah. I said, a lot of people come to the Giants games and they don't see nothing else. They think that's what Jersey's about. I said, but it's really a nice place. As I'm saying that, we're coming around the corner and there's Dayball wooing the prospect, right? Having a little one-on-one sit down, probably telling them how great the New York Football Giants organization is, and when you get drafted, you get to come and play in New Jersey. And here comes loudmouth Rick, the Giants, they play in the armpit of America, and you just see Dayball look up at me like,
oh,
this guy.
Oh my God,
that's a good
Christmas
description, though.
Man.
Good description, Rick, because Jon Stewart always said that the turnpike is a scarecrow. It just keeps you away. You got to go a little deeper into Jersey to see the nicer parts. So you're right. Whatever.
That's
Any other funny stories, Rick, from the
one
that I can share on the air?
One that you could share, I guess.
Share for these 1,900 watching. Rick equals ratings, buddy. Nice job by you.
Outstanding. If something comes to mind, I'll let you guys know. But always love being out on the road. Love all the Giants fans that have shown us some great support here throughout the years. And shout out to you guys, man. How many years now with the Giants Insider?
2017, 18. Yeah. 2017, really. As soon as we took over, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Yeah. So it's been nothing but
and then they won another one.
Since. And then they won another one. Yeah. Oh my God. But no, you know what? I find Rick and Chris and I not joke, but during the season, we're you hear more and more Giant fans saying, I can't devote this time on Sundays. Yet once the season goes and the off season's here, I know it's always like Christmas for us, free agency and the draft, but the fans are as engaged now as they've ever been. They're such good fans. I've always said this, Giant fans, man, it's a family, it's a tradition. And it is just, it's like a marriage, man. There's no other second team. Oh, I also like this team. It's just, you're all in. And if you can, I always tell my daughters, man, if you can live through this period of being a Giants fan, you can live through anything. This is the worst it's ever been. And Chris went through the 70s. He says this is worse. So if you go through this, dude, you can get through anything, man.
Well, I just think the whole era of New York sports has been pretty painful.
It's pretty bad right now. Yeah.
I'm a Yankees fan, and they've delivered one championship since the turn of the century.
And the Rangers,
Red Sox got 4, Rick.
Rangers are competitive, but they break your heart every year.
What are we doing, guys? What are we doing?
I know. But
Rick, my man, you look. Let me tell you something, man. You look spiffy, man. You're getting better and better looking every damn year. What the hell, man? You got the hairstyle.
I don't know.
I
still injections.
I saw you and Bob Papa drinking the vino the other day.
We're gonna have to get you on. I'm like, look at these guys. They're doing the podcast.
They're drinking the vino.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's go. I don't get the invite. I mean, no, listen, we're trying.
I just said we're gonna have to get the paisan. You see, Papa's stuffing his face with with food. So we'll have a good time, man. So we'll have to get you on there, talk a little football, drink a little wine, and all that stuff. So.
Man, yeah.
But I'm glad everything's good, buddy. So what's the rest of you heading out to any pro? I would imagine you go to some pro days, right, Rick?
I'm trying, but I got to be honest, guys. I'm burning the midnight oil. The draft guide takes 15, 20 hours a day out of me. It just saps me. And, we're going to have over 500 scouting reports in that bad boy.
Wow.
I think it's my best piece of work to date. And it's our 23rd year of doing this. So, again, if you want to show some love and support, we appreciate it.
Tell everybody where you can find it again, Rick.
Yeah, allaccessfootball.com. You can find all the draft information that you need to know. We do the live stream show with Brian Baldinger. We got scouting seminars.
I got it right, Rick? All Access Football?
Allaccessfootball.com. There you go, Jer.
Right, cool.
Appreciate it, man. And we're just rocking out and trying to educate and regulate. And we'll be, the 2026 process. I always get a call from my good friend Howard Balzer, who's been editing the Lindy's magazines for over 40 years now.
Oh, yeah.
And I do the college football previews and the draft. They do a whole draft section in the college football preview guide that comes out in September. But what people don't realize is that Howard Balzer is like hitting me up in March and April for that stuff. So the 2026 content has already begun. We're going to have all those rankings and all the Arch Mannings and Lenore Sellers of the worlds. But man, this is what we do. We just love it. Talking, breathing, inhaling football and just chopping it up with the Biz and Jerry. And, we don't get together enough often, but the times we do get together, man, it's always a pleasure. And I always love, like you said, the Giants fans and their support. And I get all the comments. We have elephant skin, so we take it all in, the good, the bad, the ugly. We love it all. Yeah. And hopefully we can get back to respectability because you talk about the great fans of Big Blue.
They deserve it.
Well, I remember when the franchise was talked about being a world-class organization, and I hope that they can get back to being in that sentence, right? Because I think we've fallen a little bit from those ways. But I'm going to stay optimist. And
you should have told Dable that when you saw him in Texas.
I think Dayball knows how I feel.
So, Rick, real quick, the first time Rich Savner caught this, I spelled access with one C. So Rich says you spell access with one C. So I tried to write F-U, Rich, but it said YouTube rejected. YouTube rejected your comment.
At least somebody's looking out for us. There you go.
Rejected my comment, so I spelled it correctly.
Right.
Thanks, Rich. You're the best, buddy. All right. Good
Something looked off. There you go. Somebody's paying attention.
All access. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Rich, for correcting me. That's great. Allaccessfootball.com, guys. So, Rick, can't thank you enough, man. We got to do it more often, too, man. And seriously, if you want to do the thing in Lavalette, let us know. Just give us a couple days of notice. But I love the shore. Any bar, whatever, wherever you want to do it.
I look forward to it, guys, and always appreciate the time. This is always something I look forward to and love hanging out with you guys. And man, buckle up and hunker down. Let's have a good draft. And I'd love to come back and maybe we can talk about the aftermath, right? After the dust settles from the draft weekend.
Like Dre, aftermath. Boom.
Yeah, that sounds good. I really appreciate it, Rick, man. And keep in touch, brother. All right? Keep in touch.
Absolutely, fellas. Thank you.
All right. Good
Rick,
stuff, man. See you,
thank you, my man. Talk soon.
Yes, sir.
Rick's awesome.
Yep.
That was fun. Good stuff, dude. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. There's almost 2,000 of you, so I think you did.
Woo!
Really
almost
appreciate
2,000 of you people. Thank you, man.
Lots of love for Rick.
Thank you.
We will come back again this week, guys, because the Giants better sign a quarterback or the Giant Insider is going to go very late into Saturday night with these articles because I'm not doing them again. So, everything's kind of riding on that right now. So, thank you all for joining. We really appreciate it. Biz, real quick, 9-ball golf. How's the golf game, Biz?
Golf game's going good. Be out there tomorrow. It's supposed to be 63, sunny.
Tell by the little sunburn you got.
Yeah, still got it. It'll be cooked up even more tomorrow, from what I understand. So it's supposed to be beautiful tomorrow. So, yeah.
Nice. All right, dude. We will come back one way or the other this week. Hopefully it's when we get a quarterback, but we'll give you another podcast this week. Might have a guest on. I don't know. We'll figure out what night it is, but we'll be back. Thanks for joining, everyone. Sundays are Giant days. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.